prepared here. So if anyone there, yes, if anyone there, okay, I've got a team Rebecca. You can unmute yourself.
It led to loss of lives.
Yes, that is true. Thank you, a team. It led to loss of lives. Surely people lost their lives, okay? The Africans, the Muslims, the Christians, and the traditionalists, all these ones lost their lives during the course of the war. I have another person here. This is Karen. You can unmute yourself.
It led to displacement of people.
Displacement of people. Okay. Okay. Displacement of people. Displacement. Yes, by the way. For example, when you look at the Muslims were displaced to Butambala and Gomba. Then the Protestants took over the central counties of Buganda, Chadondo, and then there is Mawokota, Anyway, displacement of people, you are right. I also have this other person here. This is Ashley. Ashley, you can unmute yourself.
The wars created enmity between the followers of different religious groups.
Enmity. That is the point, okay? Enmity between the different religious groups. You are right. There was enmity. For example, the Catholics could not actually sit on the same table with the Protestants, then the Muslims, and all of that enmity. Thank you for that. Daniel. I don't know what has happened to Daniel. Okay, Josephine. Josephine, you can unmute yourself.
They led to the formation of political parties along. Yes, please. They led to the formation of political parties along religious lines such as Uganda People's Congress for Protestants and Democratic Party for the Catholics.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Formation of political parties along religious lines. This is very true. UPC for the Protestants, then DP for the Catholics. Thank you. Joshua? Joshua?
Yeah, it led to migration of people.
Migration of people. Similar to or the same as displacement of people. Like I've already told you, the Muslims were displaced to Butambala, then Gomba, then the Protestants took over the central counties of Buganda and all that. Thank you. Thank you. I've got Jordan. Jordan, you can unmute yourself.
It led to the destruction of property.
Destruction of property. Thank you so much. Yes, there was destruction of property. Crops were destroyed, houses were destroyed, and all that. Thank you. Then Sherina, unmute yourself.
It led to disunity between the Africans.
Okay, disunity. Yeah, enmity, disunity, of course, enmity between the different religions or different people who believed in different religions. So yes, there was disunity. Thank you. Okay, Trevor.
It led to displacement of people and loss of their lives.
Okay, displacement of people, we've talked about that. But again, let me remind you, we are using this in this, people are using it, pronouns, eh? Yes, you can only use that when, for example, you are answering here. But when it comes to writing exams, you should avoid the pronouns. You don't write it led, it led. The examiner will circle it. Because what are you trying to mean by it? So you should be precise and you should be precise. You say Buganda religious wars in Buganda led to this, instead of using a pronoun it. So much avoid that pronoun, or avoid pronouns when you are answering. Okay. A moment, let me see what people are saying in the chat here. Someone is even asking what we are discussing. This is history. Okay, from Beckham, it led to the spread of foreign culture. Thank you, Beckham. Okay. From destruction of property, that is from Reste. From Luke, people became homeless. Yes, thank you. Again, Luke said it led to enmity. Reste, destruction of property, more there was depopulation among the people of Buganda. Thank you. Let's go back to, okay, I have Trevor. Trevor, I think you've okay, a moment. Okay, Trevor, if you've not contributed, you can. Okay, I think Trevor's okay. Narutaya, you can unmute yourself. Hawa and Aisha, one of you. Hey. Okay, I have an okay. Then Jovia, unmute.
The growth of nationalism in Uganda was slowed down.
Growth of nationalism in Uganda was slowed down. Yeah, because people were looking at their country, people were looking at their kingdoms, and then wars came in, wars along religion, you know. So there was some slowing of nationalism in Uganda. Josephine. Josephine, you can unmute.
Political offices in Buganda were allocated along religious lines, e.g., Prime Minister was to be a Protestant, whereas Chief Justice was to be a Catholic.
Yes, thank you so much. Political offices in Buganda were to be chosen according to religion. You understand? Yes, thank you, thank you. Now, I have so many people whose hands are up, but again, okay, Angela, let us try to be, Angela?
They led to loss of lives.
Loss of lives. Thank you, Angela. Then Wojim, I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it right, but I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. You can unmute.
The religious was led to starvation and death of people due to lack of food.
Okay, thank you. Starvation and then later on death. Yes, people starved and died. Why? Because food crops had been destroyed during the war. That's why there was starvation and then finally death. I have Linda. Linda, you can unmute.
That was led to the colonization of Buganda.
Yes, thank you so much. Colonization of Buganda and Uganda in general. Okay, thank you. I have Shina. Shina, you're coming back. Shina Shurina.
It led to the division of counties. For example, Catholics were given Budu and the Muslims were pushed to Butambala.
Muslims were pushed to Butambala. Okay, that is displacing people, dividing Buganda according to religions. Thank you, Daisy. Daisy.
They led to migration of people.
Migration of people. Thank you. Yes, like I've already talked about Muslims being pushed to Butambala, Nigomba. Okay, then there is Miss, I don't know the Miss K. Okay.
there was gradual loss of independence of the Buganda people as those religious administration took over.
Okay, thank you. Loss of independence, yes, because as a result of these wars, the missionaries invited their home countries to come in and then protect them. At the end of the day, when these Europeans came in, they ended up colonizing Buganda and Uganda at large. Okay, thank you. Now, okay, people's hands are increasing. Yet we also have to look at what I prepared here. I'm looking at those who have not contributed. I have draw sense. You can unmute yourself, Michelle.
They lead to intermarriages.
Intermarriages. Yes, intermarriages, yes, to a certain extent. Okay. Okay, I have Rahima Vivian.
New type of dressing was introduced.
Sorry, come again.
New type of dressing was introduced.
Okay, new type of dresses introduced. Thank you. Now, in the interest of time, I think I should also look at what we have, what I have for you. I'm sorry for those whose hands are still up, but we are looking at the time because you also have to look at something different. Okay, those who have already contributed, Josephine, you've already contributed. Okay, are you having something? Okay. Now let us try to look at what I also have for you here. A moment from the chat. There was general insecurity, anarchy in Buganda. That is from Pavin. Thank you. That is true. Family says food crops were destroyed from a war. Joseph, thank you so much. Very many Africans converted from African traditional religion to other religions. That is from Liz. Thank you. That is true. There was also led to eventual colonization of Uganda. That is from Jovia Pavin. Thank you so much. That is true. Then poverty, yes, because people were not working and most of their things were destroyed. Okay, thank you so much for all you've contributed. Let us briefly look at some of what you've not given. What you've given, we will not waste a lot of time explaining. Loss of lives, people have talked about that, but I can only give an example of the Christian missionaries. I mean, of the martyrs, the Uganda martyrs that were killed, okay, in Namugo. So when we talk about loss of lives, here we are. These are some of the martyrs. Actually, these are statues of the martyrs that were killed, if you can see, okay? Statues of the martyrs that were killed, and they were burnt. So we are trying to emphasize that point of loss of lives. So from there, okay, I don't know. Okay. Nsamba, are you saying something? You can unmute. Masaba, sorry. Masaba Calvin, I can see your hand up. Unmute. Okay, if you're not saying anything, you can lower your hand. Then Rahma. Rahma, you can answer.
I'm not seeing anything, sir.
Oh, you are not seeing anything?
Yes.
Is it my problem this side or yours? Someone should unmute. Daisy, unmute. Are you seeing something on your screen there?
Yes, teacher.
Yes. So I think the other one who said you can't see anything, it could be the gadget you are using. Okay? Because I shared the screen and people are seeing what I'm talking about. Okay? Vivian, yes, you can tell us what you are. Vivian?
Now I'm seeing.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, that's
sir.
okay. That's good.
Good.
Okay. Um. This is the other point. Oh, sorry. Okay, these are two. Let me first check off this one. A moment. Okay, so we are looking at this point here. Just to protect themselves, the Christians formed two armed groups, i.e. Protestants and the Roman Catholics. Now, are you seeing? Christians, that is a group of people that believe in Jesus Christ. Now, these people who believe in Jesus Christ were divided into two, the Protestants and the Catholics. Are you seeing? So, why were they doing it? They were doing it to protect themselves. The Christians themselves were fighting against each other. The Protestants, the Catholics. So that one came in Uganda. Before, we never had the Protestants in Uganda. We never had the Catholics in Uganda. You understand? So that one is also as a result of the wars that were fought. Then we have this other point that by 1894, missionaries urged their home. This was home. Okay, this was home. Urged their home governments to colonize Uganda in order to protect the lives and interests of the missionaries. Yes, this is now a colonization of Buganda and Uganda at the end of the day. 1894, the missionaries were like, please, they were calling their home governments to come in and protect them against the traditionalists, to come in and protect them against the Muslims. You understand? And at the end of the day, these countries came in and ended up colonizing Uganda and Uganda at large. Okay? From the chat, people are saying yes, they can see. Okay. It led to the it led to the formation of different languages. French, and there was also Latin, and different languages. Thank you. Then we have this other point here, that chief offices of Buganda were divided according to religion. Yes, someone even contributed this point, that offices now were given according to the religion someone believed in. Then there is the political parties were formed along religious lines, such as DP for Catholics, UPC for Protestants. We have already seen that. When someone contributed, then I had to explain it. Then schools were established along religious lines also by schools were established along religious lines. St. Mary's College Kisubi, Mount St. Mary's Namagunga, and so many others for Catholics. Are you seeing? St. Mary's College Kisubi, Mount St. Mary's Namagunga, and so many others for Catholics. Gayaza High School, King's College, Budo, Mengo Senior Secondary School for Protestants. Are you seeing? I've only given one pick here, looking at the schools, and this is Budo, okay? King's College, Budo. I think you can see that pick very well. Some of the traditional buildings there, okay? King's College, Budo, one of the schools that were constructed, that were built along religious lines, okay? Ahereza said, teacher, you are too speedy. Not too speedy. Just in case you've not got a point very well, you can actually tell me to repeat for you. But the notes, we are not copying notes here, okay? Don't worry, after this lesson, I will be sending the notes on Google Classroom. Immediately after the lesson, I'm going to send the notes. So we are not copying notes. But if you've not got a point, you can at least raise your hand and then I repeat for you, okay? Okay, so you can see. Oh yeah, someone is saying, teacher, you are not too fast. Thank you. Okay. So I've actually been telling you that these are some of the schools that were built along religious line, and this is Budo Senior Secondary School, or King's College Budo. Okay, actually not Budo, but King's College, because there is another senior secondary Budo something. So this is King's College Budo. There is Another point there. Kabaka Kalema and Kiwewa were also overthrown by different religious factions. Yes, this is true. This happened after the exiling of Mwanga. When Mwanga was exiled, then they had Kabaka Kiwewa. When Kiwewa refused to be circumcised, he was overthrown, and then they had Kalema. Okay, so these were also kings that came in and then overthrown as a result of this religious wars. Okay. Yeah, someone is saying Islam. Actually, Ashley has given us a point here that Islam was greatly reduced. It is true, by the way. Greatly reduced in Uganda. It is true. Hope says, how do we join the WhatsApp groups for the students? Hope, visit the website of Christian School Owners Association. Christian School Owners Association. The moment you visit that website, you can find the links there. Links for Google Classroom, links for WhatsApp groups, links for whatever you want can be found there. Okay, so whichever you need can be found there. Christian, okay, School Owners Association. Okay. Protestants. Someone says, teacher, you mean Protestants were not allowed in Catholic schools? That was the setup at the time. Someone has actually asked me here that, are you saying that Protestants were not allowed in Catholic schools and also Catholics not allowed in Protestant schools? That was the basis of these schools at the beginning. But now, so many, even Muslims can go to these schools now. But before, they were traditionally Catholic schools and Protestant schools, and whoever joined a Protestant school had to be a Protestant. Whoever joined the Catholic school had to be a Catholic. That was the tradition of the thing. Okay. So we have this other point here. There is this one here, that some of Buganda came to prominence as a result of religious wars. For example, Nyonyi Ntono Honerati, Apollo Kabwaza, Kalia Kisingiri, Stanislas Mugwanya. All these people came to prominence because they participated in these wars, and as a result, they could be known. As a result, okay. I have Shina. Your hand is up.
Excuse me, teacher. The meaning of the word prominence.
Oh, the meaning of the word prominence. Like popular. Some people became popular. That's what we are looking at. Some people became popular as a result of these wars. They participated and they ended up, they led the different groups in these wars. And as a result, they became popular. We've cited names like Nyonyi Ntono Honerati, Apollo Kabwaza, Kalia Kisingiri, Stanislas Mugwanya. All these ones were known as a result of these wars. Are you getting it? They led the different factions and they were successful. That is why they became popular. Okay. We have this other point here. That was related to the signing of the 1900 Buganda Agreement. Stop the religious wars. You understand? That there was even a signing of the 1900 Buganda Agreement. Why? Because they had to stop these wars. So this agreement was to make sure that Britain protects Uganda. And when Britain came in to protect Uganda, automatically Britain controlled these wars. Are you getting it? That's why Britain are dominated. By the way, the British are predominantly Protestants. You understand? That is why Protestants dominated the politics of Uganda and Uganda at the time. Okay, I can see a hand up, and this is the Alice. Alice? Oh, I don't know where Alice has gone, but I was seeing your the hand up. Okay. All right. I've gone back. So the point was that was led to the signing of the 1900 Uganda Agreement, and of course I've been telling you that the British came in and protected Uganda. Okay, and the wars had to end. So we are talking about religious wars greatly checked on the spread of Islam in Buganda. Someone has given us this point, and it is true. Most of the Muslims in Buganda were defeated and were pushed out of Buganda. And a few Muslims that stayed in Buganda were pushed into Gomba and then Butambala. Are you seeing? So there is this other point here that Buganda's counties were divided according to religions, i.e. Catholics took 80 counties, Protestants took 10 counties, and Muslims only 2 counties, that is Gomba and Butambala. Okay, then Protestants took Chadondo, Chagwe, then there is also there is Chadondo, Chagwe, the central counties anyway. Are you getting it? So Buganda's counties were divided according to religions. Okay. There is also this point about the counties again, that the Protestants took all the central counties of Chagwe, Chadondo, and Maokota. Okay. Now I tried to get a peek of some counties, but it is a little bit faint. But we can see these are the counties of Buganda. And if we are to look at the counties that were taken by, you can see where the cursor is here. This is now Chagwe. Oh, a moment. I think someone is trying to say something. And I'm not seeing that person. Okay, if you want to say something, you put up your hand and then, okay. I was actually trying to show you the counties of Buganda. We talked about the Protestants taking the central counties. There is the Chagwe here, which was taken by the Protestants. Then there is, the thing is not so clear. I tried to look for a clear one, but I failed. We have Chagwe here. Then there is Chadondo. Chadondo here, as you can see. Then this is Busiro. This one here, Busiro. These are the counties that were taken by the Protestants. Then if we are to look at the Muslims, they took Gomba. This is Gomba here. As you can see, this is Gomba here. Gomba. Then Butambala is also around here. So yeah, so we are saying that Buganda's counties were divided according to the religious lines. Then we have this other point here, that the Catholics were given Budu while Muslims were pushed to Butambala and Gomba. We have seen that. Then a lot of property was destroyed. Someone has given this point. Okay, houses, banana plantations, and so many other things. Then religion became a factor in Uganda's politics. Religion became a factor in Uganda's politics. You had to be a Protestant if you were to take this position. You had to be a Catholic if you were to take this position. So religion became a factor. Prime ministers had to be Protestants, you can see. And then the Catholics took some other low positions, if I can say. Then there was led to loss of Buganda's independence and Uganda at large. It is true. Remember the signing of the Buganda Agreement that almost gave away Buganda to the British. And Buganda lost independence, and then later on Uganda also lost independence. Then the Uganda matters later became famous. Yes, you remember we talked about death. We talked about loss of lives, and the example I cited under loss of lives was the Uganda matters, and we looked at that. Now from there, we have gone to another subheading, and this is the role played by the chartered companies or traders in the colonization of East Africa. Okay, so this is where we are now. We are going to look at what call the chartered companies. And but I believe okay, so we have now switched over to a different subheading and the role of these companies in the colonization of East Africa. Remember the last point we've been looking at, the last subheading we've been looking at effects of the religious wars. And under effects of the religious wars, we've seen some elements of colonialism. We've seen people signing agreements. For example, the Buganda, the 1900 Buganda agreement. We've also seen the Christian missionaries calling upon their home governments to come and protect them. And later on, they ended up colonizing Uganda or Buganda and Uganda at large. Are you getting it? Now, that drives us, that takes us to East Africa in general now. We would like to see the chartered companies and the role they played in the colonization of East Africa. Okay, here we are. Here we are. Now, of course, we have to first define. We have to first talk about the chartered companies. Before we look at the role of these chartered companies, we look at, we define them. One would like to know the meaning of the chartered companies and all that. So we are saying these were trading companies that were given a license to trade in East Africa. Okay, trading companies that were given a license to trade in East Africa. Okay, they were licensed to carry on trade in East Africa. That is Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania. Understand it? And when we talk about East Africa, at the time we are majorly talking about the three countries, leave alone the East Africa of today. Okay, the one we are trying to forge up, that has got South Sudan, that has got Rwanda, that has got Burundi. But before, when one talked about East Africa, we were talking about only three countries: Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. Okay. We are saying they include the Imperial British East African Company, the one you refer to as their core. Okay, Imperial African Company, formed in 1888 by William Macnon, and the German East African Company, formed in 1884 by Karl Peters. Okay, these are the trading companies we are talking about. They were majorly two. Okay, the Imperial British East African Company, formed in 1888 by William Macnon, and then the German East African Company, formed in 1884 by Karl Peters. 1884 was the year in which the Germans had a meeting, no, actually not the Germans, in which the Europeans had a meeting in Germany, in the capital Berlin, a meeting in which they agreed that they had to come to Africa and take over Africa amicably, take over Africa peacefully. Before, they were fighting for colonies in Africa. But now, von Otto Bismarck held a meeting in 1884 in Berlin and told these countries, told the representatives of the different European countries that let us go to Africa, take over Africa, but peacefully. We should not fight for colonies in Africa. We should not fight amongst ourselves. Let us divide ourselves. Let us, for example, let the French go to West Africa, then the Germans East Africa, then the British South and East Africa. You understand it? So that is how they came to Africa and shared Africa amongst themselves. This is what we refer to as the scramble and the partition of Africa. Okay. So that man you see there is William Mackinnon. Okay. That image there is an image of William Mackinnon. Okay, the man behind the Imperial British East African Company. Okay, that was (1888). William Mackinnon. Then the chartered companies. Remember, we've said the chartered companies were trading companies that were given a license to carry out trade in East Africa. These two figures you see here are the figures behind the two companies, the Imperial British East African Company and the German East African Company. Okay? Okay, before that, I think, as usual, I would like to hear from you. I don't know whether some of you have got, some of you can contribute. Okay, I don't know that some of you can give us some of the ways through which the companies facilitated the colonization of East Africa. If someone has, I have We are looking at how these companies led to the colonization of East Africa. And I've got Angel. Angel, you can unmute. Angel?
The chartered companies provided the guns that were used during religious wars.
Okay. Angel has talked about providing guns that were used during the religious wars. Okay, Angel, we've shifted a little bit from religious wars now to colonization of East Africa. And we are looking at how the chartered companies contributed to the colonization of East Africa. Okay, I don't know that you are saying they gave guns to the colonialists, something like that. Okay, let me hear from Slime. Oh, okay. They gave guns to the colonialists. Somehow, yes. Okay. Then I have Sulaina.
The chartered companies protected Christian missionaries who are also colonial agents.
Thank you, Sulaina. That is very true. Okay. They protected the Christian missionaries who were colonial agents. That is very true. You understand? Remember, we started with the missionaries in East Africa. And we even looked at the role played by missionaries in the colonization of East Africa. We looked at that. And under the role of missionaries, under how the missionaries contributed to the colonization of East Africa, we looked at a lot of how the missionaries contributed to the colonization of East Africa, meaning that they were agents of colonialism, okay? To an extent, they were agents of colonialism. Thank you, Sulaina. Then I have Josephine.
They built roads which colonialists used to bring their armies to East Africa.
Yes, that is true. Thank you so much. They built roads that were later used by colonialists. Are you getting it? The chartered companies, the traders, for them, they faced a problem of poor and impassable roads. But as they were doing their work here, they kept on improving on the routes they were using into modern roads. Now, by the time the colonialists came, they actually found very good roads that they used to coordinate, that they used to move from one part of East Africa to the other, and they easily colonized East Africa. Thank you. I have Owol Joshua.
They funded the colonization companies.
Yes, thank you so much. They funded the colonization companies. They funded it. Maybe you are talking about funding the colonialists. Funding the colonialists. That is true. They funded the colonialists. They could give them money where necessary. And at the end of it all, when these companies, by the way, became bankrupt, they surrendered their powers to the colonialists. Okay. I have another person here. This is Nalutaya Hawand Aisha. Naluta, okay.
Teacher.
Yes.
They finance colonial administration on behalf of their respective governments.
Yes, they financed colonial administration on behalf of their respective governments. That is true. Okay. They financed colonial administration. Thank you so much. Thank you. I have Liz.
Teacher, they gave feedback to their home government on how life was arranged politically, economically, and socially.
Yeah, thank you so much. They gave feedback to their home governments of how Africans were organized, of how Africans were organized and how, they behaved. Like the hostile tribes, then the welcoming tribes, all these ones were reported to their countries. And by the time of the coming of colonialists, they knew where to start from. Okay, thank you, Liz. Then I have Miss K. Yes, unmute.
The missionaries.
Yes,
Teacher?
I'm listening.
The missionaries constructed schools and infrastructure that diverted the Africans' attention from what was actually happening as they got colonized.
Okay, schools. Schools, but the schools were constructed by missionaries, and we are looking at chartered companies. We are looking at chartered companies. We are looking at the contribution of chartered companies. Okay, Agnes. Agnes?
The chartered companies promoted profitable trade, which attracted the tourists, hence the colonization of Uganda.
The trade that was carried out by the chartered companies was profitable, and the profits attracted their home governments. The profits attracted the colonialists to also come in East Africa. You understand? Then Slaina.
They created security organs which improved on internal security.
Security organs, yes, that protected the colonialists. Thank you, thank you. Linda.
Teacher, they promoted legitimate trade and made a lot of profits, which attracted colonial masters.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Linda. We've just talked about that. The profits attracted there the colonial agents or the colonial masters. Okay. Then Rahma Vivian.
Yes, they provided food and accommodation to the colonialists.
They provided food and accommodation to the colonialists. Thank you, Denise. Denise. Yes, Denise. Oh, I don't know what is happening to Denise.
Which?
Then Josephine. Josephine.
The traders fought and defeated rebellious societies. For example, Albiako defeated Bunyoro, Nandi, and Masai, while the Jieko fought and defeated the Abshiri Arabs.
Yes, that is true. Thank you so much for that wonderful point and elaboration. Okay, they fought and defeated the hostile tribes. The Gieko defeated the Nandi. Then the Ibeko defeated the Banyolo. You understand it? So they fought and defeated the hostile tribes. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, thank you. Then I have Nalutaya, Hawa, Aisha, unmute.
They established businesses that generated funds that supports colonialism and their assets.
Yes, thank you so much. Funds to the colonialists. Now, in the interest of time, I think I should also show you what I have for you here. Yes, I can see your hands are still up, but most of you have already contributed. Yeah, Shina, you've contributed. Solina, you've contributed. Okay. In the interest of time, I think I should also look at this information here that I have for you before we actually get off. So, chartered companies promoted legitimate trade, which was profitable, which profits attracted the colonialists, and someone has already given that point. Okay, chartered companies stopped slave trade, which had caused the untold suffering in East Africa. And East Africa became powerful. Yeah, you know, there was slave trade before. And the people that carried out slave trade were whites in color. You understand? And the colonialists were also whites in color. Now, if slave trade was still being carried out in East Africa, by the time of the coming of colonialists, it would have been hard for the people of East Africa to collaborate with the colonialists. Remember, we had the collaborators because they could look at them as people who were buying them and selling them, harassing them. So what the chartered companies did was to stop slave trade, such that by the time of the coming of colonialists, there was peace in East Africa, and some Africans or East Africans welcomed the colonialists. Okay. Then we have this other point here that chartered companies provided information regarding East Africa's minerals and resources which could be exploited. This attracted colonialists. Indeed, this is very true. They cited areas with the minerals and then they reported back home. So when the colonialists realized that there is a lot of resources in East Africa, they had to come and take over East Africa. So chartered companies provided the protection to the missionaries in East Africa who were forerunners of colonialism. Someone gave that point, okay? Yeah, they protected the colonials, I mean the missionaries, and we've already said the missionaries were forerunners of colonialism, okay? Then chartered companies set up infrastructures such as roads, railways that were used by colonialists. Hence is the transport. Someone has given us this point, okay? That yes, infrastructures were put up and then these infrastructures were used by the colonialists. Derek, are you saying something? Derek? Oh, okay. Derek has lowered his hand. Okay. So that was infrastructures. Then there is this other point here. The point which talks. Oh, Derek is now back.
Sorry, Derek.
Yes. Okay. So we are saying chartered companies ran bankrupt. When they ran bankrupt, okay? Okay, we are saying that okay, Lex, I can see your hand up. Lex, I can see your hand up. And you are not saying anything. Okay, you can lower your hand.
Sir.
Yes,
Sir, I've not been connected for about 2 weeks, so I'm lost.
Oh, you've not been connected. Okay, what you are going to do, you will get this, the entire session will be actually put on YouTube, and recordings are there, okay? Don't worry, you'll get the recordings. Well, in fact, in the interest of time, okay, Shina, what are you trying to say?
Teacher, if I say the colonialists took the administrative centers of the companies after they ran bankrupt, is it correct?
Yeah, that is similar to surrendering power. The trading companies, when they ran bankrupt, they surrendered their power to the colonialists. It is the same. It is the same. Okay, don't worry, it is right. Then Miss Ghana.
Teacher.
Yes.
I had a question.
Yes.
Okay. You said that those chartered companies abolished slave trade, which caused untold suffering. What was the untold suffering?
What was the?
Untold suffering.
Untold suffering.
Yes.
Oh, too much suffering. Too much suffering. Like suffering you cannot even imagine. Untold suffering. Are you saying something that you cannot even imagine that can happen to a human being? Are you getting it? So that is what we are trying to mean. Okay. So the point we were trying to look at here was when they ran bankrupt, they surrendered their charters, like their licenses, to the colonialists who claimed such areas where they operated, okay? And at the end of the day, these areas were taken by the countries, by the colonialists. Where are we going to get the notes? Google Classroom, okay? Forerunners, if someone wants to know what is the meaning of forerunners, like people who lay the ground, people who lay the ground for something to happen. We call them forerunners, okay? Some two people have again put up their hands, but the point is time. We don't have time. Okay. Miss K, I can see your hand up.
Teacher, are charters the same as shares?
No, license. Okay?
To a
license. Like you are authorized, you've given that authority to carry out business. Okay?
Okay.
Yes. There is someone who is using Techno, but the other time we told you to rename yourselves. The person who is using Techno Spark 2, next time you rename yourself, okay? You have to rename yourself such that we get to know who you are. What are you saying? You are not even contributing. Okay. Then Agnes.
Excuse me, Mr. What if instead of charters, I say they surrendered their power?
They surrendered their power. It is all the same, but not power necessarily. Maybe you use license. They surrendered their license, okay? All licenses.
Okay, Mr.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, okay. We don't have time. We don't have time, but some of these points have been given by you. Chartered companies silenced and quelled African resistances, especially in areas that were hostile. Yes, we talked about Bunyoro. You remember someone talked about Bunyoro, then the Nandi, okay? Then chartered companies set up administrative forts and garrisons that were later used by the colonialists. Yes, the administrative forts were set up by the chartered companies, and then they were used by the colonialists later. Then they promoted the colonialism through identifying hostile and accommodative societies and later informing their home governments. We talked about this. They identified the accommodative groups of people and the hostile groups of people. They were all reported back to their home governments. So by the time of coming to Africa, they knew who to fight and who to associate with easily. Okay. Then chartered companies provided administrators as initial, like the administrators that administered Africans by the at the initial stages were people provided by the chartered companies. In other words, administrators that administered the East Africa, that administered East Africa, were provided by chartered companies. Now, someone talks about notes. Yeah, the notes, don't worry. The moment we finish up this, I will be sending them to the Google Classroom. So that is where you will find the notes from, okay? Don't worry, okay? Chartered companies provided guns to chief collaborators, hence attracting more collaboration. That is very true, okay? Provided guns to collaborators, and then so many people collaborated simply because they wanted the guns. Their rivalries brought in the colonialists to settle, i.e. the German East African Company against Ibeco. Now, there was a fight between the German East African Company, actually not a fight, competition between Ibeco and Ibeco. And now they appealed to their home governments to come in. Like the British came in and then the Germans came in, they sat and settled issues. After settling issues, for example, the British were given Zanzibar by the Germans. They had already taken over Zanzibar, but they were given, the British were given Zanzibar by the Germans, and then the Germans took over Heligoland. That Heligoland island belonged to the British, and it is in the North Sea. Okay? And this is the island, Heligoland. I think you are seeing that island. It was a swap deal. The British gave away Heligoland, this island you are seeing, to the Germans, and then the Germans gave away Zanzibar to the British. Are you seeing how the British took over Zanzibar? And that is colonialism already. So for them, the Germans took Heligoland, that island you are seeing, and then they gave away Zanzibar. So that is what I had for you. And we've come to the end of lesson 2. And thank you so much for your, thank you so much for your time and for listening to me, okay? Thank you so much. Then I also see some people here. Eunice, before we get off. Eunice, your hand is up.
Teacher, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, teacher. I was asking for the Google Classroom. I'm new here.
Oh, Google Classroom.
Yeah, the link.
This is what you have to do. Go and visit this website. Christian School Owners Association. Christian School Owners Association. So the moment you visit that website, everything that you need is there. The links for Google Classroom, the links for WhatsApp, the links for everything that you need. Okay?
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Right. You are welcome. Then Daisy.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, please.
How can we send our signed work?
Signed work? Huh?
Our assigned work.
How do you send the work back?
Yes.
Or you were not part of us, the other version, I mean the first phase, eh?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now that is again something, okay, don't worry. We are going to send in the WhatsApp group how you can send back your work after doing it, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Now you'll check in the WhatsApp group. Then Daisy. Okay, Daisy has, Okay. So we've come to the end of this lesson. Mr. Charles, I don't know whether you have anything before we get off. Okay, so I think, Mr. Charles, we should actually end the lesson.
Okay, teacher, do it, please, okay? You can end the lesson. Okay, thank you.